When I heard that sound of wood banging in the freezing wind at dawn, I never thought it'd be the sound of my own patience finally snapping. Listen, I'm going to tell you a story that still keeps me up at night. Not because of what happened, but because of what I had to do. I'm Theodore, but everyone calls me Ted. I'm 68, retired from my auto repair shop. Ever since my Dorothy passed away 8 months ago, I can't sleep worth a damn. Really can't. I wake up in the middle of the night and just walk around the house trying to tire myself out, hoping sleep will come back. If you're listening to this, hit that like button. This story needs to reach folks who've got grandkids and grown children, because you'll understand every single word. It was July last year, dead of night, Thursday into Friday, 3 in the morning, cold as hell. So there I was, pacing around my small backyard in slippers and a jacket. My walking cane was leaning against the kitchen wall because I'm too much of a stubborn old fool to use it. You know how it is. That's when I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. A noise that just wouldn't quit. Sounded like someone knocking on a door, but it was definitely wood banging around. Coming from up the street from my son Ben's place. You know that feeling when something's just not right. I grabbed the flashlight I keep by the stairs and walked up there real slow. My legs ain't what they used to be, but worry gave me the strength I needed. Ben's house sits just a few houses up from mine, simple little place I helped him buy when he married Jessica 10 years back. Soon as I got there, I could see the problem clear as day. The window in Ethan's room, that's my 9-year-old grandson, was banging like crazy in the wind. Wood was all loose, latch busted, freezing wind blowing straight into that poor kid's room. I thought to myself, where the hell's Ben to fix this thing? Then it hit me. Tuesday he'd sent me a text. Dad, Jessica and I are going out of town till Saturday. We're trying to work things out. Real short message, the kind you send when you don't want to explain what's really going on. I looked through that broken window, and what I saw sent chills right down my spine. There was little Ethan, wide awake, standing on his bed, trying to hold that damn window shut with his tiny hands, all alone, shaking like a leaf from the cold. "Ethan," I called out soft-like. "Grandpa?" His voice came out all shaky. From the cold or from relief, I couldn't tell. "What are you doing up, buddy?" "I can't sleep, Grandpa. This stupid window won't stop banging." I remembered Ben always kept a spare key in that planter by the front door. Never used it before, never had to. But right then, I sure as hell needed it. I let myself in and went straight to that boy's room. Poor little Ethan was standing there in his pajamas, barefoot, lips all blue from the cold. Just broke my heart to see him like that. "Where's your mom and dad at?" "They went on a trip. Aunt Stephanie was supposed to stay with me." "And where's Aunt Stephanie?" The boy hung his head like he'd done something wrong. "She stayed Monday and Tuesday. Said she was going to run out for a bit yesterday morning and never came back." Yesterday morning. Wednesday. Here we were in the early hours of Friday. 2 whole days. 2 days my grandson had been stuck alone in that freezing house with a busted window. I felt this rage building up in my chest. Anger mixed with heartbreak, the kind that makes you sick to your stomach. But it wasn't time to feel sorry. It was time to do something about it. "Come on, Ethan, you're coming home with Grandpa." I grabbed the blanket off his bed, wrapped that boy up tight, and carried him straight to my place. Set him down on the living room couch, covered him up with that blue Afghan Grandma Dorothy had crocheted. Still smells like her perfume, you know. "Grandpa, I'm really hungry." Course he was. Went to the kitchen, warmed up some milk in Dorothy's favorite blue mug, made him a ham and cheese sandwich. Nothing fancy, but made with love. That kid ate like he hadn't seen food in forever. Hell, maybe he hadn't. "You just sleep right here tonight, buddy. We'll figure everything else out tomorrow." I waited till he fell asleep. Took maybe 20 minutes watching his little body finally relax. Once I was sure he was out cold, I headed back to Ben's place. Couldn't get it out of my head. 2 whole days. 2 days my grandson spent all alone, and here I was just a few houses away, didn't know a damn thing about it. I grabbed some wood from the backyard, found some nails and my hammer. Fixed that window best I could. Wasn't going to win any prizes, but at least it'd stop that infernal banging. While I was hammering away, I kept thinking, how the hell does a father just abandon his kid like this? Looking for a better piece of wood to really seal it up right, I spotted all these bills scattered across Ben's kitchen table. Looked like somebody'd left in one hell of a hurry. Plane tickets for two. Some fancy resort up in Napa Valley wine country. Spa treatments, romantic dinners, everything first class. 6,000 and change on the credit card. Also, they could save their marriage. And what about Ethan? Ethan got left behind in a freezing house, hungry and scared out of his mind. Let me ask you something. You ever felt anger that actually hurts in your chest? Ever wanted to grab your grown kid and give him a piece of your mind? I sat down in that kitchen chair and just stared at those bills. Got to thinking about when Ben was little, back when Dorothy was still with us. Remembered all those nights she'd stay up when he got sick. Making tea, giving medicine, reading bedtime stories. That's what real parents do. I also remembered when little Ethan was born. Ben crying right there in the hospital, swearing up and down he was going to be the best dad in the world. Said his boy would never want for anything, not ever. And now look. Now my grandson spent 2 days alone and scared while his parents blew a fortune at some fancy resort. That's when I remembered something important. I've got Ben's power of attorney. Not just any power of attorney either. Full legal power of attorney that I got last year when Dorothy took sick. Since Ben was traveling so much for work back then, he set one up for me too. Just for emergencies, he'd said. Well, what's a bigger emergency than a kid left all alone? I also remembered I know his banking password, not because I went snooping around, but because he asked me to write it down once when he was on the phone. The password's Ethan's birthday. At least the man remembered that much. I went back home. Ethan was sleeping like an angel on my couch. Fired up that old computer Ben gave me. Takes forever to start up, but it gets the job done. I logged into his account. $16,000 sitting in savings. $16,000 just sitting there while his own son was cold and hungry. I sat there in the dark, staring at that screen, really thinking hard about it. Did I have the right? Was this the right thing to do? I looked over at Ethan sleeping on my couch, remembered him shivering, trying to hold that window shut with his little hands, remembered how hungry he was, how scared he must have been those 2 days all alone. This wasn't about rights. This was about doing what needed doing. Next morning, Friday, after Ethan woke up and had breakfast with me, I drove down to the bank, opened up a savings account for kids with my name as the guardian, transferred $15,000 into it, left exactly $1,000 in Ben's account, $1,000, enough to get home and buy groceries for a few days, but sure as hell not enough for another marriage-saving vacation. I got back home and found Ethan playing in the backyard with some old toy cars. "Grandpa, can I just live here with you?" "Well, that's not exactly how it works, buddy. But you can come visit whenever you want." "Really? Promise?" "You bet I promise." We spent the whole day just puttering around together. Ethan helped me organize all my old tools from the shop out in the garage, taught him how to use a hammer the right way, how to hit a nail straight without bending it all up. "Grandpa, why'd that window break in the first place?" "Sometimes things just break, Ethan, but there's always a way to fix them." "Like people too?" That question caught me completely off guard. "What do you mean, buddy?" "Mum and Dad are always fighting now. Are they broken?" "Damn, how do you explain to a 9-year-old that sometimes grown-ups just lose their way?" "Sometimes people get real sad and don't know how to fix what's wrong, son. But there's always hope." The phone rang that afternoon. Ben. "Dad, I got a real problem here. My credit card's not working. Can you call the bank and see what's up?" He sounded all panicked. Didn't even ask about his boy. "Hey there, Ben. How's the trip going?" "It's not going good at all, Dad. I'm stuck here and my damn card won't work. Can you please call the bank?" "I could do that. Oh, by the way, Ethan's here with me." "Oh, yeah? That's good. Stephanie couldn't stay after all?" "No, Ben. She took off Wednesday morning. I found Ethan all alone in your house, freezing cold with that broken window banging all night." Dead silence on the other end. "What do you mean, alone?" "Alone, Ben. 2 whole days. Your son spent 2 days by himself, cold and hungry." "But Stephanie said she was gonna—" "Stephanie disappeared and you two didn't even bother to call and check on him." Another long silence. "Dad, about my credit card. That card's not gonna work, Ben." "Why the hell not?" "Because I moved the money into an account for Ethan. Left you $1,000. "You did what?" "I did what somebody had to do. A kid left alone in the cold can't wait around for his parents to remember he exists. But Dad, you can't just do that. Actually, I can. I've got your power of attorney, and more than that, I can sleep at night knowing I did right by that boy. But that money was supposed to... Supposed to what, Ben? Pay for more fancy hotels while my grandson sits alone and scared? I heard him take a real deep breath. Dad, we had no idea Stephanie was gonna... You had no idea because you didn't bother to check. Didn't even send that boy a text message. We were trying to save our marriage. And who was gonna save Ethan? Ben went quiet for a long time, then he said, Dad, we're coming home tomorrow. Good. I'll be here waiting. I hung up. Ethan was standing in the kitchen doorway, listening to every word. Grandpa, is Dad real mad at you? No, buddy, Dad's just worried. Worried about what? About you. Like he should have been all along. Saturday morning, before Ben got back, I took Ethan back to his house. That window was fixed, but it was pretty rough work. I got my tools out again. Grandpa, can I help you fix it better? You bet you can, buddy. I showed him how to measure the wood right, how to cut it to fit perfect. Took us the whole morning, but when we were done, that window looked good as new. Now it won't bang anymore when it's windy. Nope, not anymore, son. When you fix something the right way, it stays fixed. He ran his little hand along the smooth wood, testing it out. Just like people. Just like people, Ethan. Sometimes we gotta fix things so they work right. Ben and Jessica showed up early that afternoon, found us in the kitchen eating spaghetti with meat sauce I'd made. Dad, we really need to talk. We damn sure do. Jessica hugged Ethan tight and whispered how sorry she was. I could tell she'd been crying. Maybe she really didn't know Stephanie had taken off. Maybe she did know, and just didn't want to ruin their trip. Dad, you had no right to touch my money. I had every right, Ben, and I'd do it again. But that's illegal. You know what's illegal. Leaving a 9-year-old kid alone, cold and hungry. Ethan slipped out to the backyard to play. Smart kid. He knew the grown-ups were about to have it out. Dad, we didn't know Stephanie was going to disappear. You didn't know because you didn't call to check, not even one text to your own son. We were trying to save our marriage. And who was going to save my grandson? Ben just slumped in his chair, put his head in his hands. Jessica kept staring at the floor. Dad, can we get that money back? Sure can, when Ethan turns 18. But what if we really need it before then? Then you work for it, Ben, same as I worked my whole life to give you everything you needed. But this is different. Different how? You're healthy, you got a good education. What you don't have is your priorities straight. We kept at it till late afternoon. Ben was still plenty mad, but I could see the wheels turning. Jessica promised she'd never leave Ethan alone again without checking on him personally. Dad, what if we really get in a financial bind? Then you come talk to me like real family's supposed to do. What if you need that money yourself? What would I need it for? I got my social security checks, my little house, my grandson nearby. That's all I need. Before they left, I went out back to talk to Ethan. He was playing with an old broken toy car I'd fixed for him. Grandpa, can I come over here every Saturday? You bet you can, buddy. But you're gonna stay home with your folks now. They won't go on trips without me anymore? No, sir, they won't. And if they ever do, you'll come straight here to me. You promise? I promise. I hugged my grandson tight. He smelled like soap and that special smell of Grandpa's house. Smelled like everything good in the world. Thanks for fixing my window, Grandpa. I didn't just fix your window, son. He laughed without really getting it. Someday, he will. Ben came out to say goodbye. Still acting a little standoffish, but something had changed. Dad, do you think I screwed up real bad? I think you can make it right from here on out. That's what matters. And that money? That money'll be sitting there waiting for him. Just like a father's love should always be waiting for his kids. He gave me a hug then. Took him a while, but he did it. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm not the one you need to apologize to, son. I already said sorry to Ethan. Then now you gotta show him that sorry means something. They drove off in the late afternoon. I stood at my window watching their car disappear down the street. Ethan waved at me from the back seat. That night, I slept better than I had in months. Not because I'd gotten revenge, but because I knew I'd done the right thing. Some folks will probably think I was too harsh, that it wasn't my money to touch, that parents got the right to raise their kids however they see fit. Well, I say grandfathers got the right to protect their grandsons. Grandfathers got the right to teach their sons how to be real fathers. And when a child's cold and hungry because his parents are off blowing money at fancy resorts, somebody's got to step up. This wasn't about money. It was about getting priorities straight. It was about showing that some things in life just can't wait, that kids can't be forgotten, abandoned, or pushed aside. Now let me ask you, have you ever had to make a hard choice to protect someone you love? Ever learned that sometimes real love means doing what hurts? Today, 6 months later, Ben's a different kind of father. Not perfect, but he's there. Ethan comes over every Saturday, helps me fix things, learns to use tools the right way, tells me about his week, complains about school, laughs at silly stuff only kids think is funny. That window doesn't bang in the wind anymore, and Ethan doesn't spend nights alone and scared anymore. Sometimes fixing a broken window teaches you more about life than any conversation ever could. Sometimes you gotta break a few things to fix what really matters. How about you? You got any windows banging in the wind of your own life? Today, when I walk past Ben's house and see that window we fixed together, I wonder, do you have something in your life that's banging in the wind? Something that needs fixing before somebody gets hurt?